The year 1992 saw one of the best games in this franchise and the beat 'em up genre as a whole. Let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. The Super Nintendo game supported the previous year's arcade smash hits. We're addressing that as well to show the difference between them. There's also a Sega Genesis title, The Hyperstone Heist, but that's a matter for another day. Right off, the intro sequence is different between arcade and console. The SNES version gets you a pretty solid snippet of the 1987 show's intro in 16-bit form, where in arcades, getting the track screen featuring Pizza Power from the Coming Out of the Shells tour. The song also has a bit crushed outro on both versions. The plot is simple yet effective. The Turtles are watching April's report on Channel 6 when Cramps got on Statue of Liberty to take it on a burgle through time with Shredder. Stage 1 is Big Apple 3 a.m. On top of all four Turtles having their own unique weapons, the game introduced a fan favorite special move, throwing foot ninjas right at the screen. They even brought it back in Show's Revenge. The boss is back to Stockman in his fly form. The first boss, not too powerful, but just with a regular gun and one that launches a grabby hand, and so not too tough to beat. Stage 2 is Alley Cat Blues, where the next enemy tossed at you differs between versions. It's the rogue Karanis from the cartoon on SNES, and these quasi-kangaroo boxer robots in arcades. Either way, the boss is Metalhead. He's typically an ally in the toy line and gets reprogrammed into one in the show, but here he's an antagonist who wants to mangle you green slime balls. He's a bit tougher than Stockman, but he can be beaten. Stage 3 is Sewer Surfing, where you rack up bonuses from enemies, pizzas, and pizza alien enemies from the show that look like yellow xenomorphs. The time warp you get caught in takes place here in the arcade, but on SNES you fight the Rat King on a ski boat. Before I go any further, I once again compliment Kozo Nakamura's work on the music and Brent's lyrical remix of this track. Either way, really slaps no matter which version you're listening to. The Technodrome is a stage unique to the console version of the game, full of enemies and traps. First face Tucker and Razor from the second movie, and they still have Ice and Flame Breath respectively. Second, you take an elevator full of enemies on each floor, which takes you to the third and true boss of the stage, Shredder. To beat him, you have to throw foot ninjas at the screen, which shows the mode 7 effects on the console. On hard, there are no defensive tonfas, tough, but not impossible. After all that, the time warp sends you to the next stage. The first stop on your journey through time is Prehistoric Turtlesaurus. It may not be accurate paleontology even when the game first came out, but it is fun. In the arcade, the boss is Cement Man, functionally a substitute from the blob monster from the cartoon. On SNES, it's Slash. While a bit meek in his original form, here he has a spin attack, a sword with a long reach, and a block you don't possess. I guess the time period when cheating was invented was 250 million BCE. Despite to say, beating him is indeed satisfying. Next up is one of my favorite stages in the game, Skull and Crossbones. Taking place during the golden age of piracy in the year 1530, the seafaring music is great here. In arcades where you fight Tucker and Razor, while on SNES you fight Bebop and Rocksteady in pirate garb. Yes, you can still make them crash into each other for extra damage. Next is a stage on a steam train in the Old West of 1885, Bury My Charlotte Wounded Knee. The boss at the end of the stage and its soundtrack of tribal chants and drums is Leatherhead. The Gator focuses on pure strength and knives, but he can be beaten when you break through that attack pattern. Still think it's interesting how the 1997 variant is the only one that's a straight villain through and through, where others are allies or later reform. The second bonus stage, Neon Knight Riders, takes place in the then not too distant future of 2020. I certainly played this game a lot in that year. A much simpler vision compared to everything that actually happened. I do like the stage, especially on SNES. The music and most 7 effects remind me of F-Zero. The boss is Super Krang. He throws his strength and bombs around and fires missiles, and even though wrecking his android body takes him down, he is not out. Case in point. We follow him to the year 2100 for the next stage, Starbase, where no turtle has gone before. Wow. The Space Age level really planted the seeds of the Paramount partnership really early. Krang is now in a UFO in his second form, with a slam attack and prison bubbles to contend with. Beat him, it's back to the year each version of the game released. Now, the last part, Technodrome, the final shell shock. To reclaim Statue of Liberty, you must fight the Super Shredder. Once again, it takes more than a dog to stop him this time. Depending on his attack cycle, it alternates between lightning, fire, ice, and Retromugen rays that turn you into a regular turtle. It looks even more like a Retromugen Hadouken in this game. It takes patience and persistence to beat him like any good ninja. Beat him, and with a final rail kill, the statue and piece are returned to New York. Even with my love for the arcade game and its SNES port, I am pleasantly surprised to find Turtles in Time every bit a shell of a good time. As for the V-Shelled version that came out a while ago, it wasn't quite Warcraft 3 Reforged, but it also wasn't SpongeBob or Battle Keyboard and Rehydrated either as remasters go. It wouldn't be until the Cowabunga collection that I finally got the original ports with many classic titles of my own. It definitely set a gold standard for all future games of a franchise, one that would take 30 years to get one as good. I'll definitely be reviewing more games in the collection in the future. Count on that. See you all again soon, dudes.